Are you ready to gumble? Hello everyone, and welcome to Gumble, a gaming industry news podcast. I am your host, Jack Streets, and thank you for joining me today. For today's episode, our topic is going to be one of the biggest and most recent trends in the game development sector of the gaming industry. However, before we begin, I just want to start off by recapping our purpose here at Gumble's Productions. In today's society, gaming has become much more than just a hobby. In fact, the gaming industry has become one of the biggest segments of the entire entertainment industry. Therefore, Gumble is meant to serve as a channel to inform and educate those who are passionate about games or want to be involved within the industry, and we do so by providing the latest updates, trends, opportunities, and news to our fellow audience. With that being said, as I mentioned earlier, today we're going to be discussing one of the biggest game development trends in the industry, which is the creation and implementation of the Battle Royale genre in games. That is, so many developers nowadays are taking this concept and creating their own different variations of this style of gameplay. For those of you who don't know this specific genre or what a Battle Royale game entails, I'll give you a brief introduction to the attributes and traits that make up this gaming concept. First and foremost, the overall objective of every Battle Royale game is to be the last man or last team standing at the end. In essence, it is a type of survival game where players must outlast or eliminate all other players to win. So basically think Hunger Games. Typically, the game is played on a large-scale map with players entering the game by jumping out of a plane, helicopter, or some type of large aircraft. In most of these games, players will start with basically nothing or very little equipment. However, all throughout the map, there's items scattered everywhere that players are trying to find, such as weapons, ammo, shields, or other key components to winning the game. So basically, when leaving this aircraft, players rush to the ground to find loot that will help them in combat or survival and overall win the game. Likewise, when eliminating other players, those players also drop all their loot and equipment, so you can also pick up their stuff as you go. Finally, one key characteristic of these games is that there's a zone on the map that slowly closes and gets smaller and smaller as time goes on. Those who stay outside the zone, they'll be killed off and eliminated. This is meant to push all the players together, force them to fight until there's just one person standing, and that's the winner. It's also worth noting that most of these games are free to play, but make their money off of in-game purchases, such as skins for guns and skins for characters, game passes, and all sorts of things. Next, I want to talk a little about the history of the genre and some of the more popular games that are Battle Royale based. While most contribute the creation of Battle Royale games to early survival modes like in DayZ, for this podcast, we're going to be talking about the first standalone Battle Royale games, that is, the ones made specifically for this concept. In that regard, the very first standalone Battle Royale game introduced was PlayerUnknown's Battleground, also known as PUBG. It was created by the PUBG Corporation back in 2017. At the time, the game was a huge hit that would eventually go on to have almost 3 million players, but the game only has about 500,000 today, which is most likely a result of all the new Royale games being produced and offered to the public. However, one thing about PUBG is that since it was the first standalone, it actually introduced a lot of the traits that you find in the Battle Royale games, such as the zone closing, scavenging for items on the map, and so much more. PUBG is often even credited for kickstarting the Battle Royale genre and making it a popular concept in game development. Unlike most Battle Royale games, though, PUBG was not free, and it actually had to be purchased to be played, which is odd, because for me personally, I feel like they do the least amount of updating, while their competitors are constantly updating to try and keep their players engaged. Moving on, it was only about 6 months after PUBG's release that another company wanted to get in on the popular trend. In September 2017, the company Epic Games developed and released their own version of a Battle Royale game titled Fortnite Battle Royale. This game was not only way bigger hit than PUBG, but it also became a worldwide phenomenon. In fact, according to Statista, Fortnite had over 250 million players in 2019. While this game incorporates all the basic traits of a battle royale mentioned, Fortnite did add something to their game that's still very different than other versions today. That is, in Fortnite, players start with a pickaxe where they can chop practically anything to obtain materials. With these materials, players can actually build structures to access different areas, create shelters from their attackers, and so much more. Basically whatever the player can think of. All in all, this game still remains one of the more popular battle royale games, but at the same time, it also has a much younger demographic than its competitors. Comparatively, the next major battle royale game to follow Fortnite was Activision's version called Blackout. While PUBG and Fortnite were strictly standalone games, the Blackout battle royale game that was developed by Treyarch was an option available in the Call of Duty Black Ops 4 game. So every year Call of Duty releases a new first-person shooter, but this was the very first year that their game incorporated a battle royale mode. It's pretty clear that Activision wanted in on the battle royale wave, so therefore they created this game. For Blackout, this game did generate a lot of buzz and it had some success, but nothing like the success of Fortnite. However, they did add a lot of things to their game that made them a very unique battle royale. For instance, they added perks that players could use in the game, things that made their footsteps silent, hold their breath longer while shooting. They incorporated vehicles for the first time. They even had zombies on the map that you could fight and get items. Another great thing about Blackout was that they were constantly trying to keep players engaged by adding new game modes and maps. They always were creating smaller maps or maps with different themes. Just some really cool stuff. The biggest thing with this game, though, is that it has that Call of Duty mechanics, but just in a battle royale style. Then again, in February 2019, Respawn Entertainment and EA worked together to develop and produce another battle royale game called Apex Legends. Currently, Apex is approximated to have around nearly 70 million players on its game, making it second only to Fortnite. Like the others, Apex introduced a lot of its own features and its own unique interpretation of the battle royale concept. Some of the aspects that make it stand out is that you can bring back your teammates when they get eliminated. This was the first battle royale game to introduce this feature. They also have zip lines all over the map that help you get around quicker. You can fly at certain times, and the game even has a more futuristic approach. Overall, the biggest thing that separates this game from the others is that they implemented a character selection feature where all the different characters have their own unique abilities, such as being able to clone themselves, run faster, go invisible for a short duration, all sorts of cool things. Finally, one last major release of the Battle Royale genre was Warzone, which was only released about 3 weeks ago. Thus, so far, the game has been super successful with already 30 million players in the short period of time. For Warzone, this game is very similar to Blackout, as it is also a release from Activision's Call of Duty franchise, but this one is from the Call of Duty Modern Warfare game, and it was also developed by Blizzard rather than Treyarch. Some key attributes about Warzone is that you can find cash on the map, which is then utilized to buy kill streaks. You can buy your teammates back, kind of like keeping that idea from Apex, but you can also buy loadouts and tons of other things that give you a big advantage. Even with all the new ideas, though, Warzone still keeps all those same major traits that you can see in all the other games. When considering the future of the Battle Royale genre, I personally believe that this concept will still be extremely popular over the next few years. As you can tell from each of the games discussed, it seems like each of the new Battle Royale games are just building off the previous ones and trying to create the next big thing. It's evident that there's still money to be made with the Battle Royale games, as the popularity of the genre is only increasing. In fact, that's just a few of the Battle Royale games discussed. That doesn't even include the countless others in existence. There are even Battle Royale applications that you can download on your smartphone, and there's countless of others in the works right now. In the end, the trend is only going to continue upwards, as more developers are getting creative with the Battle Royale concept. Some are even creating new subgenres of Battle Royale modes that are moving away from the first-person shooter concept you typically see. In the end, I'll leave you with this though. There's even a Tetris Battle Royale game where it's a competition of who can survive the longest in Tetris. Thank you for listening, and tune in next time on Gumble.